Okay, it's November 8th, 2019. It's the 8th day of NaNoWriMo. We are officially in week 2, technically, which is kind of scary. Um, Not a great day for myself writing wise. I didn't even break 1,000 words. I wrote 768 or 98. I can't remember, and I didn't write it down because it's 11 o'clock at night when I'm filming right now, and I'm tired. um, so that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about when NaNoWriMo doesn't go your way, how to handle it, how to reevaluate, how to take a step back, and all that. Obviously, there's a couple of things to bear in mind. One, don't let guilt and pressure get in your way, and definitely don't let it stop you. That's really important. If you let guilt and pressure get to you too much, it can scare you away, really, from continuing to write the next day and the day after. And if that happens, then of course the guilt and pressure will continue, and I've talked about this in another video. Check that one out. The other thing to bear in mind is that the one thing to keep me going is that I know I have Saturday and Sunday. This weekend I have planned, and I've planned my life around. I've gotten things ahead of time so that they're my catch-up days. These are the days where I'm going to catch up, and my plan is actually to do 6 days worth of the golden number in 2 days. So each day I want to write roughly 4,400 words, and it's going to be a huge challenge for me, definitely, but it's a challenge I think I'm able to do. As I said, I've done it before. My personal all-time best was 5,000 in a day. I know of other YouTubers out there who have done a lot more than that. So how can you set yourself up to get to those couple of thousand words in one day? Well, one of the main ways to do it is to remember you don't have to write your book in order. I myself made this, I don't want to say it's a mistake, it's just an assumption that you make, that you start writing at chapter 1 and you continue to write all the way up until chapter 39 or whatever your chapters might be, and you write exactly in order. Not necessarily. One of the most fun things I like to tell people about The Longest Night when I wrote it was chapter 1 was the second last chapter that I actually wrote. Now that's a bit of a misleading statement because I changed the ending completely to suit the book based on what my editor suggested, and I think it worked too. It worked really, really well. A lot of people say the opening chapter is one of their favorite parts of the book, but that's what you have to bear in mind during NaNoWriMo, and that's what I'm bearing in mind for tomorrow. Today I really couldn't get into this particular scene that I was trying to write, and I just got bogged down into finer details. I ended up even texting a friend from work being like, hey, what kind of brand of handbag would make someone look like a snob? Those things are important, yes, but not during NaNoWriMo, and that's a mistake that I made today. So instead what you should be doing is thinking about the parts of the book that you're looking forward to writing, the stuff that you're like, oh, I really want to get to that, but I have to build up to it first. No, you don't. You really, really don't. And that's the beauty of writing. You can go over and back between the beginning, the middle, the end, the bit between the middle and the beginning, the bit before the end. You can zig and zag all over the book if you want to. It's one small change that I actually made to The Longest Night ended up becoming a huge change throughout the book, and I actually basically had to but I had to go through every chapter again and say, okay, I need to make sure there's a mention to the change here and here and here, and then later on in chapter 10, and then now chapter 14 needs that change to be really, really obvious, and it spirals, but it completely transformed the book. And that's something that was only made possible by the fact that I wrote out of order. So my plan tomorrow is to write out of order. There's 2 big scenes that I am really looking forward to doing, and I'm really looking forward to writing. So I'm just going to write those scenes. I'm just going to write those things. And what's great is while you're writing those scenes, you might want to, like the scenes ahead of what you've written, you might want to say, oh wait, hang on, I'd like to put in more. I think the best way to explain this is by an example. So let's just pretend that I have to think of an example now. let's pretend the 7-book saga that is the Harry Potter series is just one book, just for now. We all have heard the word Horcrux, whether you're a book reader or not, whether you're a fan of Harry Potter or not. I'm sure you've heard the word Horcrux. A Horcrux is not to go into the finer details, but Horcrux is a really important object needed to defeat the evil wizard in the series. And you only learn about Horcruxes in book 7. So in the last 7th of the condensed one novel version. But back in the second 7th, back in book 2, there was this really strange object that became the huge focus. That was Tom Riddle's diary. And it isn't until way later on that it becomes obvious that the diary was a Horcrux. So, when I talk about writing out of order, I mean you're really looking forward to writing that scene where Harry and Hermione and Ron and Neville and all the heroes of the series defeat Lord Voldemort. And one of the ways they do that is by finding out about Horcruxes. And then you're saying, right, what's a Horcrux? Well, these things are Horcruxes. I'm going to make up 7. Oh, wait, wouldn't it be really cool if one of them was way back at the start? Oh, I'm going to go back to the start and write them. And that's the beauty of writing out of order. So it's the main thing you have to bear in mind during NaNoWriMo. You do not, I promise you, no one's going to punish you if you write the ending tomorrow. No one's going to give out to you if you write chapter 17, even though you're so far in order, you're only on chapter 6. What matters is that you get the words out. What matters is you get that block of marble. That's it for today. I'm not going to talk too much because it's quite late and I have to edit this and put things on it and put it up on YouTube and go to bed. So, best of luck writing tomorrow. It's a weekend, so all of us can really get that stuff out there. All I can say to you all is to keep writing, and remember, the only one who can tell your story is you. Bye.